we're talking movies. That music was a little more sensual than I thought it was going to be. But anyway, we're talking movies. This is Cakes. With me today again is Luke, and that is my dog clapping his feet on the floor. Sonny, you have anything to say, dog? No? Okay. But anyway, talking a little bit about cult classics today. You Google search the words cult classic, it says, so bad they're good. And for some reason, when I hear the reference cult classic, the first movie that pops into my head is UHF, which I guess I can agree with that statement. So bad it's good. Other things that pop into my head, of course, there's Evil Dead. I don't know what pops into your head.
Yeah, I mean, there's just tons. Like Evil Dead is definitely one that's kind of the pinnacle, and then Rocky Horror Picture Show is kind of the. And yeah, I don't know. There's just tons that are just running through my head right now, like Repo Man.
Yeah, Repo Man's good. Yeah, definitely. You know, and I feel like sometimes when I think of cult classic too, you know, so bad they're good is definitely a good statement, but I also feel like there's like a certain. I think about there's like, you know, there's people who have seen this movie, and there's people who just haven't been enlightened to it yet. You know, like I think of I know a movie that we both love, Drop Dead Gorgeous. I mean.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think so many people have not watched that movie because they think it's just some chick flick about a beauty pageant. It's not that at all. I mean, it's basically a Christopher Guest type of mockumentary about that type of thing. So.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely there is a growing number of people. If you talk to someone who's seen it and loved it, you talk about for 20 minutes about how great the movie is, and I think that's what makes a cult classic. It's small group of people that just happen to love this movie for whatever reason, that they're enjoyable, they're able to be rewatched 100 times.
Yeah, definitely rewatchability, if that's even a word, is definitely a big yes when you're talking about a cult classic, or a big thing that movie needs to have. Any other cult classics you can think of that just really get you going?
A couple of my personal cult classic ones. I don't know how big a cult it is. One I would say is my head just went blank. Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which is kind of the vein of Rocky Horror Picture Show, another rock musical. Another
cult classic, yeah, definitely.
Another rock horror musical is this Brian De Palma's, who did Carrie. This movie called Phantom of the Paradise, and it's just this weird Phantom of the Opera like movie with rock score and very epic and just odd, just an odd movie. And then with that, another De Palma movie, Sisters, about Siamese twin sisters who one's a killer and one's good, and it's really stylish, and the score is just out of the world, and yeah, those are some of the ones that pop in my head. They're just kind of, I don't know. What I love about cult movies too is that there's something original and unique about them, something you can't ever capture again.
Yeah, and sometimes they try to make sequels for stuff like that, and it works out. You know, they definitely have enough money off the Evil Dead series, but. You know,
and actually, I prefer Evil Dead 2 over Evil Dead 1.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and I think another thing when we talk about cult classics, it seems to be like one of those things. You either love it or you hate it. You know, like I cannot stand the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I know, I can tell you 20 people that think it's awesome. You know, and I don't know. I don't appreciate it. I guess I would say maybe not necessarily hate it. I just don't.
No, there's some other movies, I can't think on top of my head, that other people, like cult movies that really just like in love with, and I'm just like, well, maybe it's not my cup of tea, or.
Yeah. Well, you know what, I think as time goes by, and it certainly left a mark on our generation. Napoleon Dynamite's definitely good, probably already a cult classic. You know, I certainly like it or hate it type of movie. You know, it's a phenomenal movie. I mean, it's just such a great, that's another thing about cult classics. I think a lot of them, like Napoleon Dynamite, are such a great escape from reality. I mean, at least I hope that's not your reality. But I don't know anybody that owns a llama. But yeah, it's just a nice little goofy escape from, reality. Most cult classics have a campiness to them that it just isn't captured in other major motion picture types of films. And some of them are tried to make as big motion pictures, and they don't work out. Like UHF, that came out when the Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton Batman came out. It came out that summer, and I don't think anybody went to it because it was such a blockbuster summer for movies. Office Space could be considered another type of cult classic.
Easily.
Any John Waters film, I suppose, could be considered a cult classic. Seems like Wet Hot American Summer. That's another really good one.
Yeah, that's one of that's on my top 10 of movies of all time.
Yeah, that's a good movie, and that's just
And that's a movie that I talked to a lot of people when I showed people in high school and college. Yeah. Either half of them thought it was funny, or half of them were just like, "Luke, what is this, and why are you showing me?"
Well, and it's obviously it's something that's not to be taken seriously, but I mean, if you've ever been to a camp or a church camp or anything like that, I mean, not that you had to have that type of experience, but I mean, you can certainly relate to it, and it's funny, it's so bad they're good, that type of thing. Toxic Avenger, this could be another good one. Spaceballs, definitely Spaceballs. I mean, maybe certain directors, like Mel Brooks or John Waters, their whole catalog can be considered cult classics because they have their following,
Yeah, I would even consider Monty Python.
Oh, yeah.
They have a devout, rabid-based fan base.
Murder by Death here is also listed as a cult classic. I'm pretty sure Truman Capote wrote that, and it's just it's kind of a mystery spoof. It's kind of like Clue before Clue happened. It's just like, there's a bunch of rich people in a mansion, and
is Peter Sellers in that?
Yes, yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
TCM the other week. I was wondering what that was.
Or excuse me, Neil Simon wrote it. Truman Capote's actually in it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but I actually have that on DVD. It's a pretty good one. Another deep dark stretch here. I don't know if you've seen this one. I think it's from 1981. Zorro, the Gay Blade.
Oh, I know of it.
I forget who stars it. Yeah, that is a funny movie. Yeah, it's so bad it's good. It's just that's a phenomenal movie. Any other cult classics that pop in your head?
Something I think of like they're like you said, campy.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of classics in the cult world, I guess. But like Valley of the Dolls. I watched it. I didn't think it was that great, but other people love it. It's really melodramatic 60s. Rise of fame, people doing drugs and having sex, and but all in the 60s, early 60s Hollywood melodramatic. That's like one I can think of off the top of my head. Right.
For some reason, that movie not that movie, but the movie, But I'm Just a Cheerleader kind of reminds me of that type of film.
Yeah.
Kind of the rise of somebody and just the kind of the drawbacks that come with that type of thing. Certain horror movie series are obviously considered cult classics. You think about even like the Scary Movies or the Scream movies. Or to go back a few years, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I never really got too hyped up about any Friday the 13th movies, but
Yeah, I never got into that series. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is in a couple lists. That's that's a cult classic yet again. That's a great movie, but it's not for everybody. It's pretty.
No, I've only seen that first one once, and it's scared the heck out of me, man. That first one is and then something about even the time period that it was filmed in. Even I'm sure even then it wasn't a big budget film, but it's raw. It's raw. Yeah, it's raw, stripped down. Wildness.
But there's this weird black humor to it all too, which I didn't see until like a few views into it. But the Evil Dead series. Sam Raimi got his start. Now he did Spider-Man and Wizard of Oz movie now.
Yeah, and that's
their start.
It's kind of one of those things when somebody's in a cult classic, it could certainly launch their career, or it certainly gives them kind of like you know, like a master like following. You know, people love Tim Curry because of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Jack Nicklaus got to start in
Yeah.
B movies.
Yeah, definitely. So, anyway, this has been Talking Movies, and we are a division of Metal Fraker Productions. You can find us on Facebook at METALFRAKER. Thank you, and have a good day.